you have to ask the question, who is benefiting from this conversation? Because it's not students, because students are welcoming freedom of speech, and that's exactly what this report says. It said they welcome
it actually says the complete opposite. It says that
if you read it that way, of course it does. If you read the Daily Mail's
it was literally, actually I read it in the Times. There was the exact,
Interesting.
okay, there was the exact same survey done 6 years ago, same questions, and they published the results. It shows,
and language changes.
It shows a massive increase in the number of students who want to censor
It's not
free
censorship.
speech.
It's about holding multiple truths, and the fact that we've got such a reductionist, reductionist, diluted conversation around freedom of speech that even
Larissa,
when you're saying,
Larissa,
I can never finish a point. What was the point of asking me on?
Listen, because I wanted to hear your view.
So please let me share the view.
But if you say something,
let me share the view. Let the people
I know you're not
view.
used to debating at universities these days, so let me debate.
Clearly, you're not used to debating because you're not letting me get in.
You're obviously used to just saying what you want to say, and no one's allowed to challenge you.
That is not what happens in universities. I'll tell you that for free.
Well, actually, we know that's what's happening in universities. And
when was the last time you went to university, Piers? When was the last time you were a student?
I was a student when I was 19.
Oh, how old are you? That's a long time ago. That is a long ass time ago.
You're being ageist.
Can I say that?
You're being ageist.
No, I'm just saying.
Wow.
That's a fact. It was a long time ago.
Triggered. Can you not? No, can you not be?
You're the snowflake here.
Can you not be ageist?
You're the snowflake here.
Can you not be ageist?
All I'm saying is, how can you know what's going on at our university?
I'm just reading this report.
You're reading a report that says that students welcome a freedom of speech.
This is the Higher Education Policy
that says
Institute.
that students want to make sure that, yes, there is freedom of speech, but also that we're enabling support for students who...
Can I ask a question?
Campuses are students'
Can I ask a question without you getting offended?
I'm not offended. Right, you can offend me if you try.
Okay, great. Great.
Go ahead.
I love that.
I'm a black woman in this country. You can't offend me.
I don't want to offend you. I want to give you my honest opinion.
Please
you give me yours. What is multiple truths?
Multiple truths.
Because last time I checked, there's only one truth. Facts are facts. That's it.
That's not a very good philosophical outlook. Maybe you should go to uni. Maybe you should go to uni.
It's called the fact.
Anyway,
there's only one truth.
To answer your question...
Do you agree there's only one truth?
To answer your question, what does it mean? It means that it's both possible to enable freedom of speech, as our students' unions do day in and day out, but that it is also possible to make sure that we're hearing the voices of people who, you know, our campuses and our communities of education are often the homes of these students as well. So when they're saying, I want to have the space to speak out about what's happening here, I want to have the space to protest, I want to have the space to share alternative views, that is them exercising their democratic right to freedom of speech too.
That's all fine. But let me bring in Teresa Purcell. She's the former president of the Young Americans for Freedom in Buffalo. Before we speak to Teresa, I want to just play a clip. This is what happened. She invited a prominent black Republican Lieutenant Colonel, Alan West, to speak at the University of Buffalo on a subject called America is Not Racist, Why American Values Are Exceptional. During the Q&A session, protesters began chanting and banging on the walls. West, who was the speaker, was escorted by police out of the event as protests continued outside. Teresa, you were with West and the police escort. You got separated. The protesters chased you into a bathroom where you had to hide for hours as they shouted, "Go get her," and were screaming. We've got a bit of footage. We can't actually see you in it, but here's a bit of the footage from what was an alarming experience.
They're going after Tariq! I know! You're a loser! And the rest of your team are! Calm down! Black lives! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
Now, Teresa, I remember this incident. I remember thinking, God, a young woman who invites a speaker is basically in fear of her life from a mob that is behaving in such a shameful manner. What was it like for you, and what do you think of this whole report that's come out in the UK about more and more students wanting to censor free speech?
Hi, Piers. Thank you so much for having me on. The overall experience was really terrifying. I hosted Colonel West since a lot of colleges in the United States, and it might be similar in the UK, only host one side of the political spectrum. They only host speakers on the left. So with the help of Young Americans Foundation, I wanted to bring a conservative speaker to campus to talk about these important issues of race and American exceptionalism. And I think that the report that came out recently that shows that college students are not supportive of free speech is very alarming. And I saw this on my own college campus by just trying to host a speaker that they didn't agree with. They tried to run me off campus and tried to terrify me, and I was afraid for my life as over 200 protesters were chasing me. And as you said, I had to hide in a men's bathroom and call the police as they were shaking doors and screaming, go get her, capture her, we need to get Therese. So overall, I find it really concerning that students don't value free speech, as they seem to only value speech that fits their narrative and don't want to hear from the opposing side, which is what college is all about, is having those debates.